This is a Next cruiser bike that I got my hands on at my local thrift store for $15. And I can tell you, this bike was born to be put through an easy Klunker conversion. It utilizes the three-piece crank system and not the single piece, so very easy to work with for that sort of thing, because most people who ride clunkers like them to have three-piece bottom brackets, and that's highly understandable because if you bend one crank arm, it's easy to just rip it off and replace one or the whole set. But when I got this, it wasn't in great shape, and the bottom bracket down here, the bearings had just been eaten by rust. This is the crank set, or crank arm with the gear that's to go on this bike, and it's what was originally on it. And I wanted to keep using this instead of another one that I have because of how small the rear gear is, and it would just affect the gear ratio if somebody's trying to rough ride this thing. So best to keep it with the gear ratio that it had. There is just one problem. While this is just fine, the other side was not. This is the other crank arm that was on it, and my God, is it in bad shape. I was just going to repaint it, but then, like, back here, this area where it goes on to the crank arm, it is absolutely stripped and worn out, meaning that this thing would not only mount off center from where it's supposed to, it would easily become loose and continue to cause wear on both it and the crank axle. So this is useless. But I have an alternative, and that's this. It's a 170, just like what was on it, only this one's aluminum while the other one was steel. I went digging in the scrap bin at my local bike shop, and they threw out a fair bit of these, because on a lot of them, it's this side that goes bad, and then they just have to chuck it in the trash. And as a result, they'll end up with crank arms that don't have a match to them, and so they're just garbage. And with this being a really budget build, who's gonna worry about one side being aluminum? If anything, it's an improvement. I am going to use this metallic silver Rust-Oleum to paint this other side of the crank. And with that, I've developed an easy method to do it. I took this bag and I cut a hole in it. And voila! Now I can just paint this part, and it should come out looking just fine. If there's anything I've learned, it's that metallic silver Rust-Oleum is one of the best kinds of Rust-Oleum you can get. It goes on better than other kinds, and you can layer it better, and it has no problem being glossed over either. So now let's just get this underside here. The underside doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to have enough on it. But yeah, now that's looking much better, but not a perfect match, mind you, because they're completely different metallic silvers. But this will work just fine now. This has all been painted now, and I'm going to leave it to cure a bit more overnight.
You gotta be freaking kidding me!
And it's been sitting on my lift for 2 months with me continuously procrastinating about doing a Klunker build on it, and just due to various circumstances and family drama and etc. that I don't need to go into detail about, I lost motivation to do anything on it. Not today. Today, I want to actually finish this damn thing and roll it out and put it up for sale and be done with it. Now, first thing we're going to do is take this useless thing off, save this for a completely different build. I have a whole new headset that's going to be going on there with these bars, or maybe D's bars, D's nuts, nuts, whatever. I've got a whole bunch of stuff I need. I was originally going to put this used seat on it. It's a little worn out, but still had plenty of mileage left on it, nice padding. But then for free, I recently got a hold of this seat that actually says NEXT on it, which would match the bike. The seat that originally came on it was a seriously wide butt seat, but I put that on my dad's bike. Got a headset right here that I painted the top piece silver. I should have everything to go together nicely.
I previously recorded some footage about me doing stuff with the crank. I had to replace the bearings in the crank axle, and the non-gear crank was absolutely knackered. It was worn out and no good. It didn't want to stay on right because it was bent. And this is the side that, with the gear, and it's actually still good. Works just fine. But since the other side was not fine, I needed a replacement. But the thing is, due to the slightly unique shape of this and whatnot, finding a steel one over at my bike shop proved to actually be kind of hard. But while going through their scrap pile, like, they throw away crank arms a fair bit when they don't have a match and they're used, I found this. Now, it is aluminum, not steel, but I'd call it an upgrade. And while they're not going to be perfectly balanced working together, who cares? Once the chain is on it, you're hardly going to feel it, if at all. But this is a Pro wheel, I guess it says. Though, you know, looking on the back, it says Pro Wheel Forged and then made in China. So, good Chinese quality, I guess. I don't know, the bike shop threw it out, so it's probably just okay stuff. It's not great, but okay. But it still looks almost new. And because it's metallic silver, I took some Rust-Oleum paint and I repainted the crank arm with this metallic silver. And it's not a perfect match, but so what? But anyways, I will start with these. Just because I'm so tired of them not being on it. Where's the bolts? There we go. I've already got a 14mm socket prepared. So let's just get these on and forget about it.
These are the original bolts to the crank, so no issues there. Ow! Okay, dumb move. Okay, silver-ish cranks on.
Next thing, since big dirt tires are going on this, I'm taking these fenders off, and I'm going to be using, or hopefully going to be using, these fenders for a bike I'm going to put together for my nephew, because he wants me to build him a clunker. Oh, good lord, you were just on there like, oh, you little bastard.
These aren't 15mm? They're 17. Oh. And it looks like they might have block washers. Ugh. lock washers. Yeah, it's got lock washers. The kind of washers with teeth on them. Okay. Get off of there. Ah, jeez. But you kind of want lock washers on a bike like this because with single speeds you can put some serious torque to the rear wheel and you can easily misalign the axle. And gently down. Okay. Just put these pieces aside for now. Alright, what are we looking at here? Just a Phillips, I think.
I went through absolute hell just getting that rear fender off, so I'm just gonna skip that part entirely.
Yes! Next thing, I'm going to change the tires.
One side, lock it down. Now just use the other one and off it comes. Ooh. That's the wheel liner, isn't it? Oh dang, that's not good. The inside of this is way more decrepit than I thought. The inner tube's still good, but that tire liner is toast.
Take a screwdriver, put it through where the valve goes, and that should keep the new liner in place while you put it on the tire or wheel. This is going to be the new rear tire, new used rear tire. Picked it up at the bike shop. It was one of a set where one was good and the other one wasn't, so they just trashed it, but you know, I'm throwing it on here because, well, red. Alright. Now we just add the air and put on the valve cap.
Make sure the tire is properly seated. There we go.
Big and hard. 17 millimeter. I need this tire as centered as possible. Ow. What? Interruption out of the way. Now, let's finish this rear wheel. I don't know if the front wheel is 15 or 17 millimeter nuts, but from the looks of it, it might be 15s, which I prefer as they're generally more universal. Alright. That front wheel can't go on just yet. Out of the way, dog. You're constantly in the way everywhere I go. Now, I've got a kit around here somewhere for brand spanking new front brakes to go on this thing. Yeah, put these off to the side. Since there are no suspension parts on this bike, I'm using this, which came off of a $5 parts bike, and it's got suspension built in, which is great. I just need to put this seat on this. Something tells me I put it on backwards. There, no one will care. I'm not used to working with this kind of mount. This kind of stuff happens. Oh yeah. That'll work just fine. This headset was originally off of a kid's BMX, but you know, for a lightweight clunker, this will be just fine. Yeah, short and wide. That's clunker bars. Personally, I prefer the taller BMX style. But whoever buys this is free to customize it however they'd like once it's off my hands. You are so skittish. You always act like you want in, but then you just sit there. And you're purring like the Dickens right now. Don't know why you're like this. No. Here, lay down on this. I'm busy. Okay, next we have these pedals I got for $5 at the bike shop. Over at my local bike shop, they have the exact same part tool pedal wrench. I bought this tool all the way back in like, I don't know, 2004 or 5 from a bike shop that's no longer open. And it's still awesome. It's one of the best pedal wrenches you could possibly get. This one's going in way better than the other side did. Yeah. I got lucky since the metal's cold enough to where it's just sliding right off the... Ooh, a DB sticker. I didn't expect to see something like that under there. No idea what it means, but it's cool. This front brake set was only $20 at my local bike shop. Pretty good deal. Minor hiccup. I thought that I accidentally got sold the wrong kind of caliper, but no. The bike shop guy just told me it's universal and I just need to switch out the bolt that came with the kit, and I didn't see that. Right now it's set for rear brakes and I need it for front. My mechanic friend said that this is universal. Let me see about this one. A little old, a little used, but yeah, it'll work fine. Some Klunker Puritans might remove this front brake entirely anyways. Personally, I like having coaster brake in the back and side pull brake in the front. They actually work really well together. Alright, it's working just fine. Now we just need the front wheel done. Oof, that was crusty. That was really crusty. Let's have a look at this liner. Actually, this liner's okay. It's a little dirty, a little grayed, but it's not breaking apart. Okay, new tire is on. Adjust the tightness of the C brakes. Need it just a little bit tighter. Just hold the pliers with my neck fat. Perfect. Now we use a 10mm wrench to adjust the brake pads to their optimal height. Before tightening them down completely, squeeze them in and make sure that they're where they're supposed to be. Now we just need some air in that new front tire. I have to use this like this because this bike isn't on the ground yet. I want to make sure everything on it is done before I put it down. Alright, that's done. Alright, neither tire had caps on the valves. Unfortunately for me, I have plenty of these laying around. I was going to put different handle grips on these handlebars, but I like the ones that are on it. I could offer these spare bread ones with it too when I sell it. Now all that we got left is the front reflector here. Okay, that's a reflector on. Cheap ass reflector, but still a reflector. And now the last thing is this gold bicycle bell that I got super cheap on eBay. Okay. That marks this Klunker build as complete. The bike has been cleaned with wet wipes. Everything on it is mechanically good now. The front brakes work good. I have everything tuned up, everything dialed in, everything ready. Right down to the suspension seat. This next bike is basically better than new now. But I'm gonna put it up for sale for about $50 or so once this video is posted on YouTube.